Welcome to Beyond the Music, the podcast where we dive into the lives and stories of people who shaped the world of music. I am Lena.
And I'm Karina. We're both classically trained singers, and this podcast is our chance to explore the fascinating intersections of music, history, and humanity.
Last time, you heard everything about Shakespeare.
Well, not everything.
Everything about Shakespeare and his works which were put into music. And in today's episode, we are looking at the world's strangest instruments.
Ooh! Okay.
Yeah. So when we think of musical instruments, most of us picture the familiar ones, like pianos, violins, guitars. But music isn't limited to wood, strings, or brass. Some instruments are born out of curiosity, accident, or even pure madness, made from materials you'd never expect, played in ways that seem impossible, and sometimes existing only for a fleeting moment before they disappear forever. And here's the amazing part. Many of them carry stories that link us directly to ancient civilizations, unusual climates, or even moments of scientific history. Today, we are traveling from prehistoric caves to frozen landscapes, from invisible sound waves to creations so bizarre they feel like they belong in science fiction. And along the way, we'll hear what they actually sound like. So, Karina, have you ever held something and thought, wow, this might be older than civilization itself?
No, I have not had the pleasure of doing that.
Okay, so you would have the chance, if you can play the flute and go to some specific museums, maybe they tell you can play a music example for it to put on our website. Because there is and I'm completely butchering probably the name of that, Divjebabe flute.
I'm sorry.
Probably it's not closely pronounced to that. I'm sorry to Slovenia in this case. It was discovered there in 1995 in a cave. It's made from the femur of a cave bear, and scientists believe Neanderthals might have made it about 50,000 years ago.
Wow.
So if that's true, it would be the oldest known musical instrument in the world. Neanderthals were long thought to be primitive, but this discovery challenged that idea, suggesting they might have had a culture, art, and music. Now, not everyone agrees. Some researchers think the holes in the bone were just made by another animal's teeth, but others point out that the spacing of the holes matches a musical scale, which feels a little too perfect to be an accident. So want to hear what it might have sounded like, because of course they don't let people play on the real bone they found, because it probably will fall apart if you touch it. I don't know.
Yes.
But they reconstructed it, and someone made like a clip so you can hear how it probably sounds.
Wow, can't wait to hear it. Whoa. Wow, that's so cool. It sounds like a whistle.
Yeah. It does sound like it, right? It's like really, really clear, and a little bit it sounds like a bird too, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is the oldest probably instrument, because the researchers are fighting about it. But if it really sounds like that. You cannot tell me that an animal made those holes. That it sounds like that.
Yes, and I don't know of any animal that has
perfectly spaced teeth.
Yes, exactly. The dentition in order to create those holes. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Find the animal that matches. I mean,
yeah.
They can, if they find an animal like from the time where they can say, we found the exact fitting teeth. Okay. Then. Well, let's move on. Let's leave the cave and head somewhere much colder.
Oh no, I don't like the cold.
Yeah, Karina, have you ever tried to sing outside in freezing temperatures?
I have, and I learned my lesson. I will never do that again.
Because in Luleå, and I probably also don't pronounce that name right, in Sweden, they built an ice organ every winter as part of the Ice Music Festival. The festival began in 2004, created by Norwegian musician Terje Isungset, which probably also is not the right how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Who is famous?
We're trying.
I'm trying. Who is famous for making instruments out of natural materials like stone, Arctic birch, and ice. So the organ's pipes are carved from blocks of ice, taken directly from frozen lakes. Each one has a slightly different pitch depending on its size and thickness. Performers play in sub-zero temperatures, sometimes as cold as minus 20 degrees Celsius. So, wearing layers and special gloves with the fingertips cut off when they play in the cold. The sound is delicate and crystalline, and because the instrument only exists until the spring, every performance is truly one of a kind.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, they even built a guitar out of ice.
Yeah.
That is really pretty.
So if you could play one piece of music on an ice instrument that melts, what would you choose before it melts? What would you play on it?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think maybe drumsticks, because then it would be a short time for it to melt and I could go back in the warmth. I think.
Or the triangle. You just have to put one note
on the triangle
and go again.
That's a great idea, the triangle. Seriously, this just shows the amount of dedication musicians go through. Sub-zero temperatures, ice instruments.
Yeah. So next we have an instrument you don't even touch. Yeah, have you ever seen a theremin in real life?
I have, actually.
Really?
Really, I have.
I haven't, sadly.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. It was invented in 1920 by Russian physicist Leon Theremin, originally while he was developing a proximity sensor for the Soviet military. So it was an accident, kind of. The instrument works using two antennas that create electromagnetic fields. One controls pitch, the other volume. By moving your hands closer or farther away, you disturb the fields, changing the sound. It became famous for its eerie, wavering tones, and in the mid-20th century it was used in movie soundtracks like The Day the Earth Stood Still and Spellbound. It was also one of the very first electronic instruments, decades before the synthesizer became popular.
instrument I would best describe it as is a stringed instrument. It just has that quality to it.
Yeah, it sounds like it a little bit, yeah. But can you imagine trying to play this in tune? I mean, a string instrument is already hard to play in tune, but this one has no strings. It's just like you have to remember where in the air you have to put your finger. Well, before we wrap up, I've got a quick lightning round for you.
Oh no, I'm not good at these.
It's not that quick, so take it slow.
Good. Thank you.
So tell me which of these you'd most likely like to try. First, we have the Octobass. Built in the 1850s by French luthier Jean-Baptiste Vuillaume, at least a name I can pronounce, it's 12 feet tall and produces notes lower than the human ear can clearly distinguish. Players use foot pedals to change the string tension because it's too big for normal fingering, and that you can listen to that one. I have also a recording for you here.
Oh yes, I've seen that. Quite impressive.
Yeah. It's a really big. I already was always saying, like, if you're playing the contrabass, you're like really have to be dedicated to the instrument because it's too big to carry. You have to kind of have a big car to put it in, and it's like if you play harp. Harp is also an instrument where you have to be really dedicated to. So, and then this one, Octobass. Okay, you need a kind of a really big car for that one. Well, second, we have the waterphone. Invented in the late 1960s by Richard Waters. It's a metal bowl with rods of different lengths sticking out, partly filled with water. Tilting it changes the pitch and creates a ghostly underwater sound. And you've definitely heard it in horror and sci-fi films.
Ooh. Whoa, yeah, I've definitely heard that.
The waterphone.
I've definitely heard that in movies. That is so cool.
Yeah. Well, and third, we have the glass harmonica. Benjamin Franklin invented it in 1761 after hearing musicians play melodies on tuned wine glasses. His vision used spinning glass bowls mounted on a horizontal spindle, played with wet fingers. It became widely popular in Europe for about a century, but some people believed its ethereal sound could cause nervous disorders.
No way.
Or even drive listeners insane. So don't let yourself drive insane.
Oh, it's too late. I'm already insane, as you know. That's why we're friends. Oh, it's so pretty. I think it's very calming, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it drives someone insane. It's just glass. So which one are you picking?
Definitely the glass harmonica. I think that is just so beautiful. However, the theremin would be a lot of fun.
I think the Octobass I would have just fun because it's so big. Yeah. It would be like, I want to try that. Well, so from bones to eyes to invisible notes, the world's strangest instruments remind us that music has no limits. It can be built from anything. You can even carve a flute out of a carrot. Yes, you can. There are tutorials on YouTube. They can be played anywhere and still move us in unexpected ways. These creations tell us something important. Music has always been a human instinct. Whether we carve it into bone, freeze it in ice, or pull it from thin air. So I hoped you enjoyed the world's strangest instruments as much as we did. And if you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
Next time, we'll delve into another fascinating chapter of music history. Until then, keep listening and discovering the stories beyond the music. See you next time.